Electra, the head of the In Unity with Creation Institute, asked me to make an up-to-date video about how this all began. I thought it was so timely. It's the end of 2017, and what's so fascinating is that I actually established the institute. Uh, I established the language of creation exercises and the science behind the exercises because of these times, 2017, 2018, and 2019. You could say that I deal in the human mind. I love the human mind. I don't like our mental processor. I don't like how we logically sequence, and that logical sequence has us miss out on the joy and freedom of being alive. But I knew that the mind was the last horizon, and that if we could get our mind in unity with creation, if we could hear our language of creation within us, that something spectacular would happen to our lives, that we would be fulfilled. So that's one of the driving forces almost 20 years ago now that had me construct the creation exercises and really, really study and understand the science behind it, the Fibonacci sequencing, resonant language, what it takes to move your consciousness from a limited perspective to a perspective of a broader perspective of comprehension, of understanding, and of experience. So it's been quite a few years. A lot of people do the creation exercises. We finally turned it into an institute because we knew this was part of the learning of the future. That's the first most important thing. But the second thing I guess I have to say is also equally important to me, and that is that people need their own minds now. They need to be able to listen with resonance. They need to listen synchronistically. They need to hear through their own consciousness. They need to be able to trust their thoughts and trust the vibration of their feelings and know that their system is a well-oiled living field that gives them direct access to life. And it's so interesting when I use the word life, because so often for people life is drudgery and just making it through another day. But when I say life, I mean alive, 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 oh. I mean that our thoughts are like gourmet meals, and that like our feelings are no longer something to be afraid of, but something that lets us know we're in our own unique and essential expression of creation. So welcome. I mean it. Welcome. And welcome to doing the language of creation and the mind of creation, the architecture of creation, if you go on with the other courses at this time. We are the Renaissance mind of our own lives. We are, simply said, seeking to think outside the box. We're simply needing to know that what we intuitively think is resonant with our choices. We need to not only think outside the box, but have a feeling or a sensory or a sensation palette, a resonant palette that lets us know that we're on the right track. So the creation exercises are part of a scientific exploration of resonance. How do we get our mind to resonate like we can when we chant, or we can when we sing, or we can when we hear music? How do we listen to the gourmet meal of our mind? How do we unhook ourselves from looping thought, from debasing feelings, the sense that we can't think something, that we can't get to something, that we can't have something? So this started 20 years ago for three reasons actually. One was I knew the time was coming when humanity needed to be its own authority, listening to people like me and other people to see what resonates with you, Not do we have the right answers or the right truth, but that you can hear through your own resonance the sounds of others, filling your own mind with your own truth. The other is to untangle humanity from the terrible mental limitation of the mind. How often it thinks thoughts that are debasing. How often it separates us from ourselves, our mental mind separates us from ourselves, not unites us with our sense of self. And the third thing is that we are moving into an era where the mind is the renaissance of consciousness that creates new realities, new forms, new understandings, and new relationship to things that have not been available to us before now. So welcome to the Language of Creation course, the first basic course, and there's so much more to go. Namaste.